welcome to the Most Dangerous Game Show. I'm Liz Donehue. I'm the creator and host of this show. And thank you all for coming to like either the worst or best thing I've ever done. Because of this, I had to get a new hobby this week. I started magnet fishing, and I had to go to the hardware store to get things like rope and carabiners and gloves and hardware stuff and buckets, and it just looked super sketch. Combined with the last 4 months of my internet history, I would have some questions. So today joining me are three comics who are originally from the British Isles, but they are cohabitating with me. No, Oscar, no. No.
That's not the preferred nomenclature. The British and Irish Isles. Or the Irish and British Isles, if we're,
the Irish and British Isles.
We're reading right to left. We're reading right to left, so Irish and British Isles.
So that's exactly. So we're going to be having some, I prefer to be educated on all this as the American. I'm sure, as you guys know, this is just a learning experience for me. It's a learning experience for all of us, really. But any advice you guys have, I genuinely appreciate. So we have three contestants joining us today. We're all in mainland Europe. We all got out of our respective places because reasons, and we are all over here now. So how this is going to go, if you have not been joining us in the past for the Most Dangerous Game Show, it's kind of a quiz show that isn't really based on sort of a content censored thing that you would maybe see on your regular daytime quiz show on TV. The topics are absurd, even horrific. This is maybe going to be kind of your disclaimer now that I'm going to read before we get into the rest of this, because this is live and unedited in real time. And the categories featured in this game are unconventional. And I think that's why many of you are here today. So these categories may contain, but are not limited to, fictional and non-fictional true crime, serial killers, cults, cryptozoology, the paranormal, UFOs and other unexplained phenomenon, natural disasters, terrorism, conspiracy theories, drugs and the people who do them, catastrophic failures, folklore, mythology. Great raises his hand. Hey, and I'm here. We got folklore, mythology, and legendary creatures, popular and alternative religion, sex of the human anatomy, crime scene investigation, forensics, the occult, and the criminal justice system. So if any of these like kind of bug you out or rustle your jimmies, like now might be the time to leave. And there are visual clues in this game, but I'm not showing anything like gratuitous bodily harm, any nudity, or any deceased person. If that's what you want to see, maybe go start your own game show, or if you get really good at it, you could end up in mine. So that's going to be, that being all said, this is going to be the last show, which I'm kind of bummed about. But as you guys know, this whole pandemic thing has been an experiment and an experience overall. So this is going to be the last one. And I'm super excited to have everyone here joining me today. A little bit how this is going to work. There are going to be 2 rounds of trivia with a short break in the middle. There's also going to be one final trivia question at the end where our contestants will have a chance to wager their accrued points for if they think that they're really skilled on this topic and they think they might know the answer. So we're going to get to that a little bit later. But let's go around and meet our contestants for this evening. I'm super excited to have everyone here with me. This has been really cool. And I've met everyone through doing comedy in Europe over time, which has been really awesome. So I'm going to go around and introduce everybody to you guys. First up, we have originally from Glasgow. Am I saying that right? All right, so not Glasgow.
Nope.
No, okay. I've learned. See, I'm learning. So first contestant we have is Grant Gallagher, who's joining us from Prague. Grant, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Liz. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Fighting life a little bit at the same time. Doing pretty good. And how are you looking forward to returning to comedy? Have you been on a live stage yet?
I have been on a live stage. I've been on one so far, which was a very weird experience. I kind of forgot how to do all of my material, so I just reverted to the last set that I did before the coronavirus, and so I just went, don't know about you guys, but I'm really nervous about this whole American elections thing coming up. And then I shit on the Italians for how they're obviously going to disastrously handle the coronavirus, whilst surely the UK, the Czech Republic, and the USA are all going to absolutely ace it. So
nailed it.
I think I nailed it.
Just did so well. And before the pandemic, and also I think kind of during the pandemic as well, you have a podcast.
That's right. Yes, I do have a podcast. It's called Making Europe Grants Again. It's a political podcast where we get a bunch of comedians to come on and talk about politics. All of your fantastic guests and your fine self have been on it. And you can find that on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm so excited. Thank you, Grant. And I had the privilege of being a guest a couple of times on the podcast, and it's kind of a riot. It's very enjoyable. There's some music components. There's some offbeat news components, and it's a fantastic experience. So during the break today, I will put up the comedians' social media handles and also their websites about where you can find the material that they've been releasing to us and entertaining us with. So I'll come to that later. Thank you, Grant. And hopping also over to Prague, we have Tori Burton. This amazing looking, amazing Tori Burton. How are you doing?
I'm all right, alive.
Yeah, alive.
Fatter, grayer, paler. Loving it.
Loving it. So during the pandemic, and I know that outside of the pandemic as well, you have an amazing visual art career. Can you tell us about some of the stuff that you've been creating in the last little while?
Yeah, I've been creating a selection of lots of colouring in pages, but also tiny things. I made myself a house. Hang on. I made myself an entire little house to live in.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
that's
when
so awesome.
Pandemic, when you're like, oh, dreaming your dreams of things, it's like, I shouldn't have asked really, because now we're in.
Sorry.
Made him a little attic. It's she's me. There's a little decks for for DJing. I mean, it's a mess, but here she is. As you can see, she's not done too well herself.
Oh my God.
So yeah, amazing art career. I'm sat here making a tiny me in a tiny house. So if
you've seen Hereditary, this is only going to end up like Hereditary.
No, I did not watch Hereditary because I watched that other bloody movie, didn't I? Can I tell you about that quickly?
Yeah, absolutely.
Stuff like this. I was going not pandemia time, last Christmas before pandemia, last normal Christmas. I was going for a breakup, after 5 years, and I thought I'll treat myself to a nice Marks and Spencer's mac and cheese, right, and a nice cold beer, and I'm going to watch a movie. And so I asked my friend which movie I should watch, and I didn't know anything about this movie. She hates horror movies, so I thought this was going to be a rom-com.
Hereditary?
Midsummer.
Oh my God.
I sat down and I put Midsummer on mid-breakup to cheer myself up with no idea that it was not a rom-com. I cannot tell you the therapy and the money I need to get through it still, even now.
I absolutely loved Midsummer. And fun fact about one of our audience members, Nick Brown. Nick went on a first date with someone and saw Midsummer and did not know how to proceed after that.
Oh,
so
dear.
Full circle, breakups and getting together, everything's good.
Midsummer's not the breakup. I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, out of context, something like some other sort of situation maybe, but Midsummer's not the feel-good breakup movie. I wouldn't recommend it. So I didn't move on to Hereditary because I'm still angry about all the things that are in Midsummer, that if you love horror movies, you should go watch it because it's pretty decent as far as nasty movies go.
It's I would recommend it. Like the A24 house is producing some cool stuff. Also The Witch, which I think is on our Netflix now, which is kind of creepy and weird. And there's a bunch of people in Game of Thrones in it. So if you guys partake in that, or anyone has in the past, everyone seems to be. I have never seen Game of Thrones, but I've heard enough about it where I feel like I've seen it. So that's kind of where I'm at. But it's
I passed Game of Thrones. I'm a Game of Thrones, and I'm not in the Game of. I'm not on the throne.
I'm not on the throne.
Game of Thrones I play, the one I do 7 times a morning while looking on Instagram.
You had a podcast about that, right?
I do. It's called On the Shitter with Tori Burton. There's 11 episodes. You can find it on Spotify. I'll return to the shitter one day. Maybe the tiny one that I made here.
Maybe the little one. It's a little shitter.
Tiny little toilet. I made a tiny little shitter.
Oh wow.
There we go. And I sit there and I record my tiny podcast.
Your tiny toilet paper just fell out, I think.
Yeah, and my tiny little magazine. I have a little magazine here too, little shiterature, I call it.
This is fantastic. And like, trust me when I say that Tori's amazingly talented. So I'm going to put her website up as well, bertsart.com.
Yeah, I'll make stuff like this. You know, I'll make anything for the right price.
She makes custom stuff. She makes custom pinatas. Like, she makes a lot of cool stuff. So if you guys need any sort of art to be able to get through these tough times and things like that, Tori will be able to provide for you.
Yeah.
So
I can make any message out of cardboard that you need to deliver.
I love your dedication to the game show, Tori, where you've made a house that in a few years is definitely going to be haunted. So that's
oh yeah,
the spirit of 100%. Actual me's going to possess tiny me, and there's going to be noises happening in here. Can't wait. I told you it was fucking real.
So last but not least, we have Oscar Brophy, who is joining us from Bratislava, one of my favorite places to go to do stand-up comedy in Europe. I'm not lying, I promise. It's a nice little day trip. It's about 90 minutes from me, so I get to go enjoy it. Oscar, you had at one point a fairly famous Twitter follower.
Oh yes, I did. I had Mr. Barack Obama was following me on the Twitter. Through no fault of my own, through no action of my own. I just it popped up there. You were followed by Barack Obama. Why not follow him back? But I decided not. I did decided not to follow him back, and I made a post about this, and that got in the newspaper, the local newspaper, and then after being published in the local newspaper, he unfollowed me. So his account unfollowed me. I don't know, was it him personally or did he I don't know. And then the story of him unfollowing me was in the paper again, and that went mildly viral on Twitter. So got reshared by the American embassy, and I was on the radio a bunch talking about it. So it was a fun way to cap off 2020. Anyway,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm probably on. If I wasn't on the list before, I'm definitely on now. I'm already on the list. We're all on the fucking list now. I'm on a more and the next level up list. So
we've leveled up for lists in the past 15 months. Like, everyone's on a list now, especially doing research for this show. Like, I'm not sure if buying Mein Kampf off of Amazon 12 years ago was the first hit or whatever, but some people it gets on a list because that's why we have libraries, because you got to protect your literature dignity or privacy or whatever. But yeah, I think with Amazon we're all past that.
Yeah.
So
Jeff knows.
Jeff knows. So in Bratislava, do you have any comedy shows coming up, or are you guys starting live shows out there?
We did our first show just Wednesday gone. Just right next to my house. Nice. We had 3 traveling comedians: Victor Patrascan, Mike Rice from Ireland, and Tamer Katan from NYC. So awesome. Yeah, it was good. Great. We had 100 people. No social distancing, but we had a good crowd, and we had a lot of fun. And we did a show in Turnava as well. So my first time we did a show outside Bratislava. So if you thought it was hard to do a show in Bratislava, wait till you see Turnava, guys. It's it's tough going. I mean, it was fun. It was an experience. But that was different. Everyone was wearing masks. It was inside. Everyone was spread out. So, and there was a spotlight shining. So I couldn't really. I had too many, for me anyway. I had too many layers of separation to kind of jive with the crowd. But yeah, I had a lot of fun at the one we did here. So yeah, and I know planning more shows all summer, open mic soon, getting back into the swing of things, and then hopefully things will not lock down again in September and we can keep going, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully we learned something the 3 or 4 times in the last year, but
No, I don't think we have. No. We have not.
So now that you guys have met our contestants, I'm going to go live to the game board. So what's going to happen is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to have 5 categories up here for our contestants to choose from. And I'm going to tilt myself a little bit because I can't see exactly whose stuff. I want to make sure I'm giving everybody the correct points. So I'm going to connect the second desktop.
Ooh.
All right. So.
Gosh. Oh, gosh.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
You can tell none of us have actually watched the show before, because this is the first time we're seeing the game board.
So for the categories, I'm going to explain a little bit about each category. So far, we have worst case scenario. It's everything bad about Germany. We have, the plague, because we've all been through this plague, but there's the plague. There's also haunted British Isle locations and Irish Isles. So I'm going to show you a location. You're going to tell me what it is. So I think there's going to be some familiarity there for you guys. I also have European horror movies. I'm going to read you a horror movie synopsis that was based in Europe. You get to tell me which horror movie that is. And there's also, which is I'm hiding, or it's hidden under me. There is famous nuclear accidents in Ukraine for the last category. So these are going to be the first round questions. I'm going to go to Tori for the first pick of all of this. So you have freedom of the board. You can go wherever you would like to go.
Okay, well, I feel under pressure now. I feel like I've forgotten every single haunted British Isles. Like, I'm a paranormal investigator and I've gone completely blank. So I'm going to just step away from the things that I should know. With all the egg dripping down my face any minute. I want to go worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario? And
Yeah.
which one?
Let's go middle.
Let's go middle for 6.
I'm going middle for 6. Let's just fucking do it, mate.
Let's do middle for 6, man.
Middle for 6.
All right. 4 17th century mass executions are thought to be some of the largest to have ever taken place in Germany and Europe, which is really saying something. And while there was no real hunt involved, over 1,000 people were killed for having dabbled in this practice.
So 1,000 people were executed for something. What was it? That's the question, is it?
It is, yes. And you guys can say your names if you want to call in as well. That might work. Call in, buzz in. Yeah.
Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna have to guess something.
Okay.
Dabbling in a practice. The practice. Was it being? Oh, that's not a practice. That's a lifestyle. Is it a lifestyle? No, it's just the way you are. Oh God. Was it for like doing something like shaving or something like that?
No, not shaving. It's a little more sinister than shaving.
Okay, wait. Oh, was it plucking? Epilator. That's definitely more sinister than shaving.
So we have guests in the chat that are saying bread making and having pockets.
Hang on one moment. I've got a bit of interference coming in from the canine.
Oh, Miguel.
Miguel says, was it something to
Grant? Is that how we buzz in?
Tori muted it. You muted yourself, Tori.
I'm asking you to unmute. This is off to a good start. Grant, over to you.
I think that it was the practice of witchcraft.
Hey, so we got what is witchcraft. So Grant is on the board with 600.
So we have to answer like what is.
You don't actually have to phrase it in the form of a question. I'm not going to be real picky about it.
Okay.
Also, some of the people in the audience, just so you know, I'm not taking away any points for this. I went to Evergreen. I don't do math, so we're just adding our way to the top. And gonna do some subtracting.
Thank you for not making this answer what is, because I like how you picked a bunch of people who are from the UK and Ireland, and we don't have Jeopardy there.
Yeah, this is not our. Stop trying to force your culture on us. Jesus.
I've just come to notice, Liz, the answer's in the question. I've read it properly. I'm in the room. My nerves has calmed down. The answer was literally there. Thanks, Grant. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.
So there will be kind of some clues in the way that things are worded. It's not going to be real obvious 100% of the time, but it's also not going to be like, we're not going to do any 19th century poetry here. You know, there's no real daytime topics. But at this point, now that Grant has answered the question correctly, the board goes to you, Grant, for where you would like to go next.
Okay, I'm going to go for, the plague for 400, please.
All right, we got, the plague for 400. The plague's occurrence was commonly referred to as pestilence, an embodiment which is featured riding this color of horse in the book of Revelation.
A white horse? What is a white horse?
What? Say your name.
Oh, Grant.
We got what is white? Exactly, the white horse. As you guys know, there are 4 horses of apocalypse. Pestilence, I believe, being the second, even though they were all supposed to kill people, kind of, but it was the second. And Grant, back to you again.
Okay, I'll take worst case scenario for 400.
Worst case scenario for 4. Between 1903 and 1924, Karl Denke murdered and cannibalized at least 42 people. He is even thought to have sold the flesh of his victims at a Wrocław meat market disguised as this legal protein.
Oscar.
What is protein shakes for? Oh, Grant.
Oscar.
Okay.
Damn it.
What is cheese? Maybe?
Not cheese.
No. Oh.
Over to Grant.
What is protein shakes for bodybuilders?
I wish. Ye olden protein shake.
Probably Big
Tori,
Mac.
anything from you? A Big Mac? Famous in Wrocław for their Big Macs.
Oh yeah.
So we got what is pork?
I was going to say bloody rotis with porks in them, but I felt like just okay.
We're all living in Central Europe. We should have known that. That should have been.
I know.
In Poland, yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, supposedly also as well, the human flesh is supposed to resemble pork.
Salty.
The most.
So I'm told.
Out of all the red meats.
Yeah, that's so gross.
Nice save there, Oscar, with the so untold. Yeah, it tastes like chicken.
Nice.
I believe I read somewhere.
I believe at one point in the wee hours of the morning. So Grant, actually back to you.
Oh, okay. I'll go for famous nuclear accidents in Ukraine for 400.
All right, famous nuclear accidents in Ukraine. The Chernobyl disaster is one of 2 disasters which reached the maximum severity of 7 on the International Nuclear Event Scale, and the other being this more recent catastrophe. Oscar.
Fukushima? What is Fukushima?
Exactly, the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster, which was the scariest thing I've seen on TV since 9/11, where I was actually standing in front of the TV for a couple of hours watching some real horrendous shit.
Oh, sure, you're on the you were like in Seattle at that stage still. So
I was in Minneapolis,
the West Coast. Oh, okay, so I mean,
yeah. So there was a lot of concern on the West Coast, obviously, from the repercussions of that.
I knew a guy who was in Japan at the time, and he was saying he was major pan shitting moment.
I have a fun 9/11 anecdote if you want to hear it.
There's always time for a fun 9/11 anecdote, Grant.
And now we go to fun 9/11 anecdotes. Over to Grant.
If there's anywhere to unveil a fun 9/11 anecdote, it's during the Most Dangerous Game Show. So because of the time difference, when obviously it happened in America in the morning, it happened in for us in the UK, it was late in the afternoon. And I was in my history class, and my history teacher, Mr. Craney, the point at which we knew that something was up, he was like on his computer, and he was always looking at a news website or something like that, and he literally just said the words out loud, "Oh shit."
Oh no. For me, I was getting ready for school in the morning, and I went downstairs, and it was on TV. Didn't really understand what was happening, and my dad looked at me and said, "We're under attack." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's different. This is not." And it freaked me out so bad. And my mom at the time gave me $100 and a cell phone just in case anything happened. I was like, what's gonna happen today? Like, what hasn't already happened in this that's gonna okay, because Seattle with its tall buildings and stuff, there was thought that this could carry on over to that, but
my grandfather was in a pub when it happened, because he is Scottish, and that's what we do in the middle of the day when you're retired. And he argued with the bartender for a solid half an hour, because the bartender was just saying to my grandfather, "No, this is the news. This is really happening." And my granddad thought, I can't remember the name of the movie, but he thought it was a movie that had come out just a couple of years before, where they crashed a plane into the towers. And so my grandfather's sitting there going like, no, I've seen this.
I've seen this.
This is the one with Martin Sheen or whatever. Going, no, this is the BBC.
That's happening right now. Yeah. So Oscar, control the board. Over to you.
So I've been going deep into Ukraine, or into Chernobyl, for the last while. So give me let's see. Give me a very high dose of radiation, 1,000 Röntgen, please.
Ooh, 1,000 Röntgen.
Let's see how much it burns.
Ooh, The Czech Republic and Slovakia have had their fair share of wildlife, including this animal, which happens to inhabit Ukraine, except for they've been rendered as radioactive after the disaster.
Ooh. Jesus. What is a bear?
Not a bear.
Well, Tori.
Tori.
What is a Tory?
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Bell. Wolves. Is it wolves?
Not wolves.
Grant.
Grant.
What is deer?
Not deer. So for this we have, what are boars?
Oh, okay.
Bloody boar.
Again with the pork. We should have known.
Again with the pork, guys. The clue was right there in the Czech Republic, Slovakia. What are boars? So Oscar, back over to you again.
Okay. So let's take it down a notch. Can I have European horror movies for 400?
All right, European movies for 4. During a rescue mission into the Amazon rainforest, a professor stumbles across lost film shot by a missing documentary crew. Oscar.
Cannibal Holocaust.
It is Cannibal Holocaust.
And the European connection there is that it's Italian. So
it is Italian. Yeah. It's in a weird genre called Mondo of horror movies. Yeah. And I love the idea though of just Hannibal Holocaust. I don't know what that would be, but I feel like that's been in a couple different
Hannibal
movies.
Buress going back in time and
either
doing or stopping the Holocaust. One of the two.
Holocaust. Right after this episode of Drunk History. Exactly.
There's a joke to be made there with him going back and people dying and there being already ovens, but I'm not going to make it. I'm above that.
There's it's fun. Jim Williams, our friend from Poland, says boars are taking over the planet. It's an international thing the mainstream media is not talking about.
Because they're radioactive.
It's radioactive. Radioactive boars. I love the footage from Zlin and other places too of just like entire families of boars just running wherever they feel like in the middle of the day.
You need to call in those guys from the States, from Texas with the helicopter.
The guys that hump boars. Exactly.
Start mowing them down, yeah. Now that's going to be a European horror movie in a few years.
Oh yeah, 100%. Particularly in Texas as well. So Oscar, still control the board.
Okay. So how about haunted British and Irish Isles locations for 600?
For 600. So again, this is a visual one, so there's no clue with it, but I'm going to show you a place.
Oh. Fuck. I don't know.
It's like if supposedly it's like if Stonehenge was hack from what I was reading.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Wait, is this Acklehenge?
No, not Acklehenge.
No.
So for this one, this is Callanish standing stones.
From Scotland, isn't it?
Yep.
The whole
one
time.
job, Grant. One job, Grant.
I'm taking the flag down, guys. I've let the side down.
Me too.
And Carmine says this is from Assassin's Creed, which I don't know because I've never played Assassin. Oh, he says no, it's not. I think he's joking. I can't tell. There's just been so much time that is
sarcasm doesn't translate well.
It doesn't translate well. I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. I've only been playing video games where you're a mean goose and you have to try to steal the glasses off a kid and get out of the garden, which was the last I played. So Oscar, back to you.
Okay, let's try haunted locations for 400. Let's take it down.
Haunted locations to 4.
Ooh. It's obviously some sort of haunted ass place, but I would imagine anyway.
It's haunted manor, maybe of
Grant.
Yeah,
I'm using the superior investigative powers of reading here. I'm going to say the Langham Hotel.
It's the Langham Hotel. Yeah, I was hoping that was not.
Fuck. God damn it.
Which I'm now realizing after it's on a huge screen in front of me and not just
So
like a little picture that I've been like, oh yeah, I'll just add that. Like,
what's the deal? What's the deal with this hotel then?
supposedly it's haunted.
Okay.
Yeah.
By what? By what?
Ask a stupid question, Oscar.
Yeah.
It's no, supposedly the staff there encounters like former residents on occasion fairly frequently.
Where's my breakfast?
Yeah, where's my breakfast? I need a late checkout. Yeah, there's been a lot happening at this hotel in the past like 120 years, something like that. But apparently it's a hot spot in London, is where it's located. So Grant, over to you.
Okay, let's go for you know the plague for 600.
You know the plague for 600. Even though many attribute the plague to being active in the early 14th century, there are numerous cases found today, most notably in this African country.
How do we answer without appearing
racist?
Yes. All of them.
I'm like, now I need to figure out, is it racist and is it an African country? You know.
Grant. What is Somalia?
Not Somalia. I believe there are 49 countries in Africa.
Yeah. Okay. So that's 48 left.
A country?
Is
also,
this...
any wrong answer will be deemed racist.
Sorry, Nigeria. Why not? Let's go Nigeria.
Not Nigeria.
Okay. Is it Liberia?
Not Liberia. No. At this point, we have Madagascar, which has some weird resurgence every couple of years of cases of the plague.
It's that fucking movie.
That's a totally different movie, and I would watch it 100% if a bunch of animals escaped from the zoo and then went to Madagascar.
Ray Romano, was it Ray Romano was the zebra in that movie, and he brings the plague?
Chris Rock was the zebra in that movie.
Oh shit! Okay, I know Ray Romano's in it somewhere. I know.
Ironically, that's the most racist thing that's been said in this round of questions about Africa.
We almost made it out of the category.
Fuck.
We almost did. Oh my goodness. All right, so Oscar or Grant, I believe. Grant, back to you.
Okay, let's go. Worst case scenario for 800.
Worst case scenario for 800. With a satirical conspiracy theory as a possible source, this German city is at the center of a hoax which suggests it actually doesn't exist.
It's got some niche name, doesn't it? It's not one of the big ones. Like, it's not one of the ones you know.
Mm-hmm. Large, but not Berlin.
Yeah.
What is Berlin?
What? Yeah, I never bought that whole story about them building a wall through it. How do you like? What is? Oh, I can picture the word in my mind. I'm trying to. No, I'm trying to actualize it. What is?
Is it Bielefeld?
Bielefeld? No. Oh, okay. Yes, is that? Yeah. No, no, I had something with W in there, but yeah. Okay, no, I was off base.
Yeah, for whatever reason, Bielefeld doesn't exist. And actually, Angela Merkel tweeted about it at one point that she was visiting, and she promised that it did exist because she was there. So, bless her heart, Angela
I can
Merkel.
do jokes too, yeah.
Yeah, jokes. All right, so Grant, back to you.
Okay, let's go. European horror movies for 200. I'm not very good at horror movies.
All right, for 200.
Let's try.
If you guys don't get this one, I'm going to be real upset. 3 backpackers head to Slovak City that promises to meet their hedonistic expectations with no idea of the hell that awaits them. Over to Oscar.
Hostel.
What is Hostel?
1 and 2.
Hostel, not a great movie to watch on mushrooms, by the way. Which I actually hard pass. Would not do that again. 0 out of 10.
I watched
hard pass.
What did I watch? I watched I Spit in Your Grave on acid. That was a horrible idea. The remake. Yeah.
There should
Have
be
you
a
guys
support
heard of
group for
the
people like us.
concept of forests?
Is it?
No,
No.
not at all. Yeah.
Okay, that explains a lot then. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is where all this stems from.
Yeah.
So Oscar, over to you.
Yeah. European horror movie 600. Let's keep it going.
All right, European horror movies for 6. An American newcomer to a prestigious German ballet academy comes to realize that the school is a front for something sinister amid a series of grisly murders.
Oh. Fuck. Oscar, what is Suspiria?
What is Suspiria?
Oh, okay. I've
exactly.
never seen it.
Which is a common
dark.
question. What is Suspiria?
Yeah,
like, because no one's really sure.
What the fuck is Suspiria?
What the fuck is Suspiria?
Sounds good. Writing it down.
Yeah, it's write it down. Yeah, exactly. Oscar, back to you.
Okay, let's go famous nuclear accidents in Ukraine for 200.
All right, famous nuclear accidents in Ukraine. Although most refer to it as Chernobyl, the famous nuclear accident actually took place outside of this town near the Belarusian border.
Pripyat.
Oscar, exactly. So we got, what is Pripyat?
Chernobyl 101.
Chernobyl 101. Carmine says, bravo!
I only know the name of that town because of Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Historical documentary Call of Duty
Exactly.
Modern Warfare.
That's fantastic. All right, so back to Oscar.
So let's go. I'm gonna say fuck it, and let's go for the plague for 1,000.
Ooh, the plague for 1,000. One point of entry for the plague and one of the first possible cases of germ warfare ever was used in 1347 when this notorious westward expanding army catapulted infected bodies over the retaining walls of the Crimean city of Kaffa.
Grant. What is the Huns?
I'm going to give it to you. It's the Mongols.
Oh, the Mongols, yeah.
Yep, exactly. So Grant with 1,000. Awesome. So we got Grant breaking 2,400 with, just germ warfare is so gross. Out of
I'm broken. Where's my scores?
What? But where is it?
My scores are broke.
Those pesky Mongols. Someone else says, what is Monty Python? Perfect. All right, so Grant, you have control of the board.
Okay, let's go. Worst case scenario for 1,000.
All right, worst case for 1,000. One of Germany's most puzzling unsolved crimes, the Hinterkaifeck murders of 1922, was thought to have possibly been committed by the same guy who was supposedly behind these famous axe murders in the United States.
Oscar? Was it the Boston axe murders?
Not Boston, no.
Fuck. Okay. Bollocks.
Axl Rose?
Axl Rose.
Pardon.
It's like a place.
Grant, Chicago?
Not Chicago, no. Tori, any guesses?
I listened to a podcast about this 2 days ago.
Axe murder. The famous axe murder in New York. Why not? I don't know if they did.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, New
So
York.
this is the Villisca axe murder.
Yeah. That was my next answer.
Yeah, it was exactly right.
Oh yeah, that one. So supposedly the guy who committed these had a similar MO to the ones in Germany. And since it was around the same time of 1922, which I don't know anything about that happened in that year ever, this was news to me also. So that was fun. So Oscar.
Is it me? No, I didn't get that.
Oh wait.
It was Grant,
Grant?
I think.
Oh, okay. Let's go for the plague for 800.
All right, last of the plague. Perceived Jewish immunity was rampant outside their communities as they followed particular hygienic practices in isolated ghettos, which largely alleviated them from the spread of disease. As the number of pogroms increased throughout Europe, Casimir III the Great, it's a long title, offered refuge to the Jews in this country.
Oscar.
So
the modern country or the country it was at the time?
I'll do modern country.
Okay, Poland.
What is Poland? Exactly. Yeah. Which is why there is such a sorry, that's my bad. Which is why there was such a large Jewish community in Poland up to one point, which is because of this particular guy. So
what was the immunity to?
Like the plague.
To the plague. You know the plague.
Oh yeah.
The plague.
It was because they were very hygienic.
Because they were hygienic, but they also had they were isolated from the rest of
Well, they say one of the benefits of getting a circumcision is that you have improved hygiene on your penis. So
one of the many benefits.
One of the so I'm told. Again, I'm
I don't want to tell tales out of school, but and I guess there were 2 other Casimirs that maybe were not as great.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
It's the 3rd. Yeah, exactly. Hat trick. So Oscar, over to you.
Okay, European horror for 800.
European horror for 8. 6 years after Earth has suffered an alien invasion, a cynical journalist agrees to escort a shaken American tourist through an infected zone in Mexico to the safety of the U.S. border.
No.
No.
No, bueno. I don't know.
No, bueno.
Yeah, Nevium.
So for this one, we got what is Monsters, which is out of the UK, supposedly, and I've heard good things, and it's on my watch list that I'll need to look at. But probably after the sequel to A Quiet Place and also maybe the 3rd Conjuring, which came out yesterday, which I've heard terrible things about, and I'm so excited to watch it. So, definitely looking forward to it. Monsters, the Pixar movie. Oh yeah, I'd watch that.
Monsters Inc.
Monsters Inc. All right, so that goes back to Oscar.
European horror 1000.
European horror for 1,000. A film crew follows a ruthless thief and heartless killer as he goes about his daily routine. But complications set in when the film crew lose their objectivity and begin lending a hand.
Yeah, I've seen this. It's is it Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer? No, that's
no, not Henry.
Fuck.
Grant, Tori, any guesses?
Harold, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Harold.
Like Dutch or Danish or something like that. I don't know.
Colin.
Sorry. Tori, anything?
Just Colin. That was all I had.
Just Colin. Okay. This was Man Bites Dog.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Black and white movie out of France from 1992. It's a little. It's out there. It's enjoyable, but it's out there. Harvey, Boris.
There's an American one called the American one is Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, and it's kind of similar to that. Henry
Lee Lucas. Yeah, that guy. He's awful. By European standards, I mean, but also by American standards, he's quite awful. So we're getting down here on categories. Oscar, back over to you.
Okay, I'll take it easy. So we'll go to haunted British Isles locations for 200. I'll give it my pride and say British Isles.
British Isles.
Well, just as long as it's not.
Grant.
The
Yorkshire Moors.
Nope.
Oscar. Is it Hadrian's Wall?
Not Hadrian's Wall.
Because there's a wall in the picture. So
there's a wall in the picture. Maybe it's Hadrian's.
Oscar just thinks every wall is Hadrian's wall.
It could be. I don't know.
Every wall is Hadrian's wall.
No.
Sorry.
No, I don't know. I was thinking some battles place, but I don't know any. I don't know.
Some battle place. This is what is Pendle Hill.
Pendle Hill.
What's the story with that?
In,
I think you were expecting all of us to have a bit more knowledge of British geography than we do.
Than you do. So for this, it's been a site of not just witchcraft huntings and sightings and things amok in that general realm, but also British and Scottish battlefields as well. Some with, and I'm not, is it William Wallace?
Yes.
William Wallace.
Okay, he had something to do with that, and I've never seen Braveheart, so I need to get on that.
Okay, so see you later, guys. It's been nice doing the quiz.
Yeah, see you guys. It's been real. So Oscar, back to you.
Famous nuclear accidents in Ukraine for 600.
All right, famous nuclear accidents for 6. Because 2020 wasn't fucking crazy enough, forest fires started in the exclusion zone as a result of the dry season. This raised a concern about the rising levels of radiation, which is detected using this unit of measure.
Grant.
Grant.
What is Geiger?
Not Geiger, no.
No? Oh.
Oscar.
Oscar?
What is Röntgen?
What is Röntgen? This is the guy that did all the radiation studies, but it's counted with a Geiger counter.
Oh, god damn it!
I live near a street here called Röntgenova. So
oh, really?
I'm gonna find 36 Röntgenova, and I'm gonna pop a little dot in there.
Not good, not terrible.
Yeah,
good.
it's okay.
Terrible.
I mean,
yeah.
That's where your
But it only goes up that
Panelec.
high.
I mean, it's a Panelec. You know, they are not great. They are not terrible. So
they're not great, not terrible. Yeah, exactly.
That's it, yeah.
Right, so we got 4 left here. Nope, we got 6 left because I can count. Oscar, back to you.
That is 5, Liz.
It is 5. It is 5. All right, I got a cat situation. I'm trying to.
Ich kannst habe worst case scenario. Bitte. I've been trying to do German.
Worst case scenario, bitte. So in 1937, this giant German blimp ignited over New Jersey because it was filled with 7 million cubic feet of this highly combustible gas.
Grant?
Grant?
What is the Hindenburg?
You're right, but it's not okay, that's my bad because I phrased this wrong. I said this twice. So I'm going to give it to Grant, but we were looking for height. Oh, what is the Hindenburg? I said this highly combustible gas, and hydrogen was also
hydrogen.
Double question.
Okay.
But you know what? Fun science fact: when you ignite hydrogen, it makes a popping sound. So if you take away all the hundreds of people who died, ironically, that would be quite a funny thing to witness.
Yeah. You remove the humanity.
If only the humanity. Exactly. That's what it would.
A little bit like on Lemmings when you decide you're going to nuke them all and they all.
Fun story about me. I didn't know lemmings were real until last year. I thought they purely existed in the video game. I didn't know that they existed in real life. So I got to learn something. And I feel weird admitting that, but I feel comfortable with you guys. So,
that's good.
You know, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We learn our own pace. It's 0 points.
My points. So we have Grant control of the board.
Okay, I'm going to go for famous nuclear accidents in Ukraine for 800.
Famous nukes for 8. Valery Legasov, the deputy director of the Kuchartov Institute of Nuclear Energy, was called in by the Soviet Union to oversee the cleanup and further understand the severity of the disaster, and was portrayed by this English actor in the Chernobyl series.
Oscar. Was it Jared?
Oscar?
Jared Harris?
It was Jared Harris. Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Jared Harris, who did a spectacular job. Would quite like to recommend the miniseries to anyone who's not seen it. It's pretty horrific. If this is Carmody says Oscar and a heart, so you
I passed the Carmody test. That means more than any. That means more than any points.
We're all winners here, but
yes.
There's the Carmody. There's the
he says word.
He says I'm fanboying for you. All right, so we have 2 left. Haunted British Isles locations. Oscar, where do you want to go?
Can I have the one you missed and 200? You know, the plague.
Also known as the plague. All right. The plague wasn't the first time death was described as black. This hero seafarer encountered the monster Scylla in the Mediterranean during his travels, and upon returning home after many years, told his audience her mouth's full of black death in his epic poem. Grant?
Who is Odysseus?
Not Odysseus. Oh, did I fuck it up again? I fucked it up again. Oh no, double question. But yes, technically, who is Homer? But I also said this here. Okay, yes. So Grant, you're, oh man. I've only done this like 4 times now, and I'm just now, okay. All right, proofreading is important. If you guys can learn anything from this game show.
As host, you're having trouble with both reading and telling numbers.
reading, writing, and math, okay? Like it's this.
3 hours, you know, that's the thing. You know, if you want to...
I know. I majored in one of those, but yes, it also, and it also was Odysseus, the hero seafarer, but also in his epic poem, Homer being the author. My heart was in the right place. Okay, so now that we have 2, right?
Come on now.
There's 2. So Grant.
Okay, let's go. Haunted British Isles locations for 800.
All right, British for 8.
Come on, Brian. Come
this
on,
thing.
Oscar? Is that the Hellfire Club in Dublin?
That is the Hellfire Club.
Oh.
That there used to be a large amount of magic / occult activity in this location over the number of years. And as you can see, no one wanted to fuck with that anymore.
People go drink cans in there. People go there to drink beer and stuff, and among those other things.
But Oscar, we're talking about Ireland. That really doesn't narrow it down.
Yeah, I mean, it was like that. It was like that during the magic times as well. Like that's what magic is in Ireland. You know, just liquid magic.
It is a building in Ireland, therefore.
I have created the teleportation juice. I drink it, and I wake up in town.
All right, so Oscar, last one for you.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
This old place.
Oh. I'm just going to read the site of the building. If there's any...
is it, it's not Borley Rectory. No. I'm not muted.
What is it?
It's not Borley Rectory. No.
No. Borley Rectory.
Mm-mm. Oh, come on. Fuck on.
Is it Shakespeare's house?
Not Shakespeare's house. That's a good guess, though. Because it looks old as fuck.
Yeah.
So.
Is it Robert Burns' house?
Not Robert Burns, no. This is the Ancient Ram Inn.
Oh.
Where they did a lot of paranormal investigation over the years, and also the famed Ghost Club was started there with a couple of writers.
It's also where you would go to have sex with old people.
The Ancient Ram.
Is it? Sounds right.
I mean, maybe. Just the ancient Ram Inn, I don't know.
Yeah.
Ancient Ram Inn. So that brings us to the end of the first round. Guys, thank you for participating. I know it's been a little bit of a challenge, but also this has been a challenge for me because I got to learn about everything European Isles, UK and Irish Isles. Is that right?
The way that Britain's going downhill, let's just call it the Irish Isles and sum it up.
The Irish Isles. Because Brexit. So what's going to happen now? We're going to take a 10-minute break. I'm going to put up the comics social media handles and websites on the screen, but also a chance for you guys to contribute to the show. If you aren't aware, this is a 100% donation-based show. All the donations go towards the comics that you've seen tonight so far, and it kind of keeps this little operation going, but it's not really going to be going on so much anymore. But we do have a PayPal and a Venmo set up. So what's going to happen is I'm going to share that on the screen, and we will be back here in 10 minutes. So we can wait until 10:10. Yeah, let's wait till 10:10 because that's just going to line up good. And we'll see you guys back here in 10 minutes. Thanks, everybody.